Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be building a negotiation guide from scratch, specifically for new entrepreneurs.
I like that.
So we're really going to try to break this essential skill down into pot-sized pieces using the source material you provided.
Awesome.
Now, our sources describe negotiation as a universal dance with 4 stages. And it's a dance that you'll be doing throughout your entire entrepreneurial journey, from securing funding to landing those first clients. Mastering this dance can really make or break your entrepreneurial dreams.
That's right.
I even found a fascinating anecdote in the source material about 2 farmers in Tanzania who resolved a land dispute through a negotiation process that actually mirrored their African landscape.
Interesting.
They use this concept of like talking to the mountain as the first stage, which we'll dive into later.
Right.
But to help us break down this intricate dance of negotiation, we're joined by our expert.
Hey, everyone.
Now, they've spent years understanding the nuances of negotiation dynamics.
Yes, I have.
And they even get excited about the tiniest details.
Oh, I do.
Which I think our listeners will come to appreciate.
I hope so.
So, to kick things off, as a new entrepreneur, how should I even begin to approach negotiation strategically? Like, where do I even start?
Well, first, let's try to demystify this whole concept of negotiation styles.
Okay.
Imagine you walk into a room. There are 10 strangers.
Oh, wow.
Each paired with someone across from them.
Okay.
There's a $1,000 prize for the first 2 who convince their partner to stand behind their chair.
Oh.
What would you do?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think I'd try to, like, strike up a conversation, find some common ground, maybe propose a plan where we both win the prize.
Okay.
Is that like a collaborative approach or?
You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it.
Okay.
There are 5 core negotiation strategies, and the source material breaks down each one.
Perfect.
And collaboration is one of them.
Awesome. So let's break those down.
Sure.
What are the 5?
So we'll start with avoidance.
Okay.
Sometimes it's best to just walk away from a negotiation altogether.
Right.
Especially if the stakes are low or the potential for conflict is high.
Yeah. So it's like strategically choosing your battles.
Exactly.
Right.
Next up is compromise.
Okay.
The classic split the difference approach.
Right.
It's quick and easy, but it doesn't always lead to the most satisfying outcome for either party.
I can see that, you might be leaving value on the table.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about accommodation.
Okay.
This is where you prioritize the other party's needs over your own.
Okay.
It's useful for building relationships, maintaining harmony, but be careful not to be taken advantage of.
Right.
That's the key there.
Yeah, it's like when I help my friend move, there's no, like, reward other than pizza and good vibes.
There you go. Perfect example.
Right.
Then there's competition.
Okay.
This style is all about winning and maximizing your gains.
Right.
Even if it means the other person loses out.
Mm-hmm.
It can be effective in certain situations, but it can also damage relationships and create kind of a hostile environment.
It's like those intense bidding wars you see on those antique shows on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Where people get...
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
And finally, we have collaboration.
Right.
Your preferred style.
Yes.
This involves working together to find a win-win solution that benefits both parties.
I like that.
It requires open communication, creative problem solving, and a willingness to understand the other party's perspectives.
I like that.
And their interests.
Collaboration does sound like the ideal approach, at least for me.
Yeah.
But how do I know which strategy is best for a given situation?
Yeah, well, that's where understanding your natural negotiation style comes in.
Oh.
The source material actually has this bargaining styles assessment to help you pinpoint your tendencies.
Okay.
Are you naturally competitive?
Okay.
Collaborative?
Right.
Avoiding?
Okay.
Once you know your default style, you can start to adapt and flex your approach based on the specific context of the negotiation.
Okay, so it's not about sticking to one style rigidly, but understanding our natural tendencies and adapting based on the situation.
That's it.
This assessment sounds super helpful.
Yeah.
But what if I discover that my natural negotiation style isn't ideal for, say, a high-stakes business deal? Can I still be successful?
Absolutely. Negotiation is a learned skill. Even if you're not a natural-born negotiator, you can develop and refine your abilities through practice, feedback, self-awareness. Our sources even highlight a story of a successful entrepreneur
who built
a multi-billion-dollar business By delegating tough negotiations to others.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
So even if I'm not like a shark in the negotiation room,
right.
I can still build a successful business.
That's right.
Okay.
Knowing your strengths and weaknesses allows you to strategize effectively.
Yeah.
Focus on the aspects of negotiation that you excel at.
Okay.
And delegate the parts you find challenging to someone with complementary skills.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
It means even introverted entrepreneurs like myself
That's right.
can still thrive.
You got it.
But before we jump into delegating, let's go back to the basics.
Sure.
What's the first step towards effective negotiation?
The foundation of any successful negotiation is setting powerful goals and high expectations.
Right.
Do you remember Akio Morita, the founder of Sony?
Yeah, I do.
He faced a really crucial negotiation regarding the distribution of Sony's transistor radios in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
He received this incredible offer from Bulova.
Wow.
But there was a catch.
Oh, love a good business story.
Yeah.
What was the catch?
Bulova wanted to sell the radios under their own brand name.
Oh, wow.
Completely erasing Sony's brand from the product.
Oh, so it was a classic short-term gain versus long-term vision dilemma.
Absolutely.
What did he do?
He chose vision.
Okay.
Morita knew that establishing Sony as a globally recognized brand was far more important than just a quick payout.
Wow.
He understood the power of setting clear, ambitious goals and sticking to them, even when faced with these really tempting alternatives.
Wow. That's a powerful lesson in holding firm to your vision.
It is.
It sounds like he really understood the importance of aligning those negotiations with his overall business goals.
100%.
Did his decision pay off?
Big time.
Wow. So it definitely sounds like it took a lot of courage to turn down that deal.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when there was so much money on the line.
Absolutely. And it highlights a crucial point for new entrepreneurs. Research has actually shown that negotiators who set ambitious goals significantly outperform those with modest goals.
Wow. So it's not just about like thinking big. It's about setting those big goals and expectations.
Right. From the beginning.
From the very beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
And don't just keep those goals locked away in your head.
Right.
Writing them down and even better, sharing them with others strengthens your commitment and transforms those dreams into concrete expectations.
I like that. Having those goals written down and shared with others almost makes them feel more real and achievable.
That's it.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together, but let's rewind for a moment and go back to that story about the farmers in Tanzania.
Right.
You mentioned how they used this concept of talking to the mountain during their negotiation.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
That refers to the power of standards and norms.
Okay. In shaping negotiations.
Right. They weren't just arguing, you know, they were referencing these pre-existing norms and standards within their community to support their positions.
Okay.
It's like using a shared rule book.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Get to guide the negotiation.
Yeah. It's like using industry benchmarks when negotiating a contract or something.
Yes. Perfect.
Right.
That's exactly it.
But how do those norms actually influence a negotiation?
Yeah, it's because we, as humans, we have this strong desire to appear consistent in our words and actions. It's a psychological principle called the consistency principle, and skilled negotiators, they know how to leverage this. They frame their proposals in a way that aligns with the other party's values and their previously stated standards.
Okay, so it's like using their own beliefs and commitments as leverage in a way.
Exactly. That's it.
So how can a new entrepreneur use this to their advantage?
Preparation is key.
Okay.
You want to research the relevant standards and norms within your industry before any negotiation. Second, frame your proposal strategically, highlighting how your offer aligns with the other party's values. And finally, be wary of consistency traps.
What are those?
Some negotiators might try to get you to agree to a seemingly harmless standard early on, only to use it against you later.
Oh, wow. That's sneaky.
It is. So stay alert and protect your interests.
That's a fantastic point. Always be one step ahead. Think about those potential long-term implications of what you're agreeing to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But beyond these more technical aspects of negotiation, I'm curious about the role of relationships.
Yeah.
Can't we just like focus on the facts and the figures and leave emotions at the door?
Well, while logic and data are super important, Effective negotiation isn't purely transactional.
Oh.
Building strong relationships is foundational.
Okay.
Think about your simple negotiation with your neighbor's daughter.
Yeah.
Even in that scenario.
Right.
The relationship mattered.
You're right. If I hadn't already built a good relationship with her, it probably would have been a lot harder to reach an agreement. But in the competitive business world, are relationships really that crucial?
More than you might think.
Okay.
Strong relationships foster trust.
Right.
They reduce anxiety, and they make communications so much smoother.
Right.
And when it comes to trust, there's this powerful psychological principle at play.
Oh, okay. What is it?
It's called the norm of reciprocity.
I've heard of that.
Have you?
Isn't that the idea that people feel obligated to return favors?
That's it.
Right.
You're naturally inclined to respond to kindness with kindness.
Okay.
And this plays a significant role in negotiation. Okay. Our sources tell the story of J.P. Morgan and Andrew Carnegie, where Morgan's unexpected generosity in a business deal actually solidified a long-lasting and mutually beneficial relationship.
So being kind and generous isn't just about being nice. Yeah. It can be a strategic advantage.
Exactly.
In negotiations.
Yes.
I love that. It makes business feel more human.
It does.
But how does a new entrepreneur put this into practice?
Right.
Should we be showering potential clients with gifts?
It's not about grand gestures or expensive gifts.
Right.
It's about being reliable, being fair, and being genuinely interested in building a positive relationship.
Right.
Be someone that people want to work with.
Right. Be trustworthy.
That's it.
Right.
And don't shy away from addressing unfair treatment directly.
Okay.
Letting things slide can actually damage the relationship in the long run.
That's such an important point.
It is.
It's about being kind, but firm.
Yeah.
Generous, but not naive.
That's
right. But let's be real. Sometimes in business, it feels like it's all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
How do we approach those tougher situations where the primary motivator is financial gain?
Yeah, that's where the skill of uncovering the other party's interests comes in.
Okay.
And this is so crucial because we often assume that the other side wants the exact opposite of what we want.
Yeah.
Do you remember the story of Kelly Sarber?
Yeah, she was the one who offered to bring back sand for the town's beaches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Smart thinking.
Yeah, she got a premium price for her waste management contract.
Right.
Because she realized that the town needed more than just waste removal.
Right.
She understood their desire for beach replenishment.
Right.
And used it to create a mutually beneficial deal.
That's a brilliant example of looking beyond the obvious and finding those creative solutions that address everyone's needs.
Absolutely. But how do you actually uncover those hidden interests? It seems like mind reading.
It's not mind reading. It's about asking the right questions and listening actively.
Okay.
Our sources actually outline a 4-step process.
Okay, what is it?
So first you want to identify the decision maker.
Okay.
Find common ground.
Okay.
Identify any potential obstacles to a deal.
Yeah.
And then brainstorm low-cost options that solve their problems while helping you reach your goals.
It's like detective work.
Exactly.
That's for business.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is.
But what if we hit a wall? What if the other party is digging in their heels and our leverage seems limited?
That's where understanding leverage comes in.
Okay.
And it's not about being aggressive. It's about understanding the dynamics of risk and potential loss.
Okay.
Do you remember the airline CEO who needed new jumbo jets?
He's the one who ended up partnering with Airbus.
Yes, right. Airbus desperately needed a win in the American market.
Okay.
And this gave the CEO leverage despite his need for the planes.
Okay, so it's not about who's stronger. It's about who has more to lose if the deal falls apart.
Yeah. Another great example from the source material is Janie Mitchum.
Oh, yeah.
She built her own railroad.
Wow, she built her own railroad.
Yes, she did.
Talk about taking control.
Yes.
So leverage isn't about bullying or having a backup plan.
That's right.
It's about creating a situation where the other party sees the value in working with you.
Exactly.
Even if it means making concessions.
100%.
Right.
Now, knowing these principles is great.
Right.
But applying them in the heat of the moment is a totally different game.
Right. So how do we take all this and create a winning strategy?
That's where the situational matrix from the source material comes in.
Okay.
It helps you choose the best strategy based on the relationship and the stakes of the negotiation. It breaks down these negotiation scenarios into 4 quadrants. Tacit coordination, relationships, transactions, and balanced concern.
Okay, break those down for me.
All right, so first we have tacit coordination.
Okay.
This applies when the stakes are low and the relationship isn't critical.
Okay.
Think of those simple transactions where efficiency matters most.
Got it. Low stakes, quick resolution.
Exactly.
What about relationships?
Here, the relationship is paramount.
Okay.
Even if the stakes are low.
Okay.
Maintaining harmony is key.
Okay.
This calls for more of an accommodating style, where building goodwill and trust is the priority.
It's like negotiating with a close friend or a family member.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You value the relationship above all else.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have transactions.
Okay.
High stakes.
Okay.
But the relationship is less important.
Okay.
Like a one-time business deal with a stranger. A more competitive approach focused on maximizing your gains might be suitable here.
Okay, it's all about getting the best outcome.
Yes.
Even if it means being a bit more assertive.
That's right.
Okay, what about the last quadrant? Balanced concerns.
This one's the most complex.
Okay.
Both the stakes and the relationship are important.
Okay.
This is where strategic partnerships,
key
client negotiations, crucial alliances, all fall.
That sounds like a delicate balancing act.
It is.
How do you navigate a situation like that?
It requires collaboration.
Okay.
Clear communication, and a genuine desire to find solutions that work for everyone involved.
Right.
You're often using elements from all 5 negotiation styles.
Wow. Okay.
Adapting your approach
Okay.
based on the specific dynamics of the situation.
Makes sense.
Our source material shares a story about selling a home.
Oh, okay.
Which is a classic example of a balanced concern scenario.
Yeah.
Maintaining a positive relationship with the buyers and the community was just as important as securing a good price.
Does that make sense? It highlights the importance of assenting the situation accurately.
Yes.
And tailoring your approach accordingly.
That's it.
Okay, we've got our strategy.
Yeah.
Now, how do we effectively exchange information?
Yeah.
What are the communication do's and don'ts of negotiation?
Great question. And that leads us to the next critical stage.
Okay.
Our source material tells this really cautionary tale
Okay.
about MCA executives
Okay.
and Sony's Akio Morita negotiating over the Betamax.
Right.
MCA's aggressive legal stance actually backfired.
Oh, wow.
Ruining the relationship and causing them to miss out on a potentially lucrative partnership.
So even with a strong legal position, mishandling communication can sabotage the entire deal.
Yes, it's a reminder that building rapport and trust during information exchange is vital. Research shows that skilled negotiators ask more questions than they make statements.
Interesting.
They listen actively and they read nonverbal cues effectively. It's about gathering information, understanding perspectives, and creating a foundation for collaborative problem solving.
So it sounds like being a good listener is just as important as being a good talker.
Yes.
Right. But in a competitive negotiation, wouldn't revealing too much information put you at a disadvantage?
Yeah.
How do you find that balance?
It's about being strategic with your disclosures.
Okay.
The key is to probe first and disclose second.
Okay.
Ask questions.
Right.
Gather information.
All right.
And then decide what information you're comfortable sharing and when it's like a game of chess.
I like that.
Planning your moves and anticipating your opponent's reactions.
It's about being thoughtful and strategic.
Yeah.
Not just giving everything away up front.
That's it.
Right.
Now at some point you have to start talking numbers, right?
Yes.
How do you handle that delicate dance of making concessions and closing the deal?
That's the final stage.
It is.
And it can be one of the most challenging.
It can be.
Right.
Our source material recounts the final days of the U.S.-China WTO negotiations.
Wow.
And how Charlene Bershevsky leveraged deadlines.
Okay.
And the scarcity effect.
The scarcity effect. That sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah, it's the psychological principle that we tend to value things more when they're scarce or in limited supply.
Right.
So framing offers as limited time opportunities creates a sense of urgency.
That makes sense.
Encouraging the other party to make a decision.
It's like those limited time offer tactics you see in marketing all the time.
Exactly.
Creating that sense of urgency often gets people to act. Right.
That's right.
But what about making concessions? How do you know how much to give and when to hold firm?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
And as with most things in negotiation, the answer depends on the specific situation in transactional bargaining, where the relationship is less important. Starting high and conceding slowly can be effective. But in integrative bargaining, where the relationship really matters, it's about trading concessions on less important issues for gains on the things that are more important to you.
It's a balancing act.
It is.
Finding that middle ground where everyone feels like they've won something.
That's right.
Any tips for a negotiation newbie like me?
Yeah. One key tip is to watch out for overcommitment.
Overcommitment.
Yeah, this happens when you get so focused on closing the deal that you start making concessions that aren't really in your best interests. It's like falling in love with the idea of a deal and ignoring all the warning signs.
I can see how that can happen.
Yeah.
The excitement of closing a deal could definitely cloud your judgment.
Absolutely.
So how do you avoid that trap?
You stay objective. You constantly evaluate the terms. And be willing to walk away. If the deal no longer makes sense. Having a clear closing strategy is also crucial. Our source material outlines several effective techniques. Splitting the difference for a quick and fair resolution. Seeking neutral valuations for complex deals. Or obtaining commitment through concrete actions or public announcements.
Choose the technique that best suits the situation.
That's it. And seal the deal confidently and fairly.
This is fantastic. I feel like I'm finally getting a grasp on this whole negotiation thing.
Good.
But before we wrap up,
there's
one more topic I want to touch on. Ethics. With all this talk of strategy and leverage, it's easy to get caught up in the game. And maybe bend the rules a bit. How do we handle those ethical dilemmas that inevitably pop up in negotiations?
Yeah, that's a really important question. And it sparks a lot of debate among negotiation experts. Our source material highlights 3 schools of thought.
I'm curious to hear about those.
Yeah, we have the poker school, the idealist school, and the pragmatist school.
Break them down for me.
All right, so the poker school, they see negotiation as a game with its own set of rules where deception is acceptable within those boundaries.
So it's kind of the all's fair in love and war approach to negotiation.
That's it. On the opposite end of the spectrum.
We have the idealist school. They believe that negotiators should always adhere to their own personal ethical standards. Even if it means sacrificing potential gains.
So it's about doing what's right, even if it means you don't get everything you want.
Exactly.
What about the pragmatist school?
They acknowledge that deception might sometimes be necessary in negotiations, but they emphasize using it carefully. And with awareness of the long-term consequences. It's about finding that balance between achieving your goals and maintaining your credibility and your reputation.
So it's about being strategic with your ethics and choosing your battles carefully.
That's it.
But how do you know which approach is the right one?
There's no easy answer. It's about developing your own ethical framework, recognizing the potential for deception, and staying true to your values. Our source material offers a few practical tips. Probe for any inconsistencies in the other party's statements. Ask questions. And dig deeper if something feels off.
And most importantly, be prepared to explain and defend your actions.
Exactly.
If you can't justify your tactics ethically, it might be time to reconsider your approach.
That's right.
It's about being able to look at yourself in the mirror and feel good about how you handled yourself.
Exactly. That brings a sense of integrity to the whole process.
This has been an incredible deep dive into negotiation.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much.
I hope so.
But before we send our new entrepreneur out into the world to conquer every deal, I want to share one last story from the source material.
All right.
It's about a negotiation student.
Oh, wow.
Just like you. Who used his newfound skills to save a historic building in his community.
That's amazing.
It's inspiring to see how these skills can be used. It's not just for business, but for positive change in the world.
That's right. Yeah, it's a great example of how understanding these principles can empower you to make a real difference in the world.
Yeah, he didn't have money or political influence, but he had something far more powerful.
What's that?
Effective negotiation skills.
That's right.
He didn't just win a negotiation.
Yeah.
He saved a piece of history.
Wow.
He understood the power of building relationships.
Yeah.
Uncovering those underlying interests and crafting those win-win solutions.
Yeah, it really highlights the potential of combining your entrepreneurial passion with the art of negotiation.
It's a reminder that mastering negotiation is about so much more than just getting what you want.
Absolutely.
It's about creating value.
Yes.
Building bridges. And shaping outcomes that benefit you, your community, and the world.
And remember, building a solid ethical foundation is an ongoing process. Yeah. It's about learning, reflecting.
And refining your approach with each negotiation.
Right.
And as you gain experience, you'll discover what works best for you and what aligns with your values.
This has been such an incredible journey through the world of negotiation.
It has.
We've covered so much ground.
We did.
From understanding your personal negotiation style to navigating those tricky ethical gray areas.
It's a lot.
And even seasoned negotiators are constantly learning and refining their skills.
That's right.
So to our new entrepreneur out there, as you step into the world, ready to make your mark.
Yes.
Remember, the negotiation is a dance.
It is.
And with the right steps, you can lead it in any direction you choose.
Absolutely.
Embrace the challenges. Stay true to your values.
Yes.
And never underestimate the power of a well-negotiated deal.
Couldn't agree more.
And remember, we're always here to cheer you on.
We are.
Happy negotiating.
Happy negotiating, everyone.
Until next time, stay curious and keep diving deep.